Hi, welcome everyone. This is
There you go, boss.
Hi, welcome everyone. It's 3 o'clock, so we're gonna go ahead and get started to make sure we get through everything. Thank you for coming to our session today using AI to enhance accessibility in Canvas. Small changes, hopefully big impact. I'm Kristen Copeland. I am the Dean of Library and Learning Innovation at Clover Park Technical College. Before I became the dean about a year ago, I was the inaugural Teaching and Learning Center director. So I stood up the Teaching and Learning Center with Jeff Kane, who is one of our curriculum and instructional design specialists. And then Ronald Lethko came on board as another curriculum and instructional design specialist. And then James Victor Shoemate came on board as another curriculum and instructional design specialist. I'm very blessed to have 3 full-time. We are grant funded for 2 out of the 3 positions and 50% of my salary with Title III. So hopefully you all know. But our institution is working to make this a line item in the general budget so that we don't have to stress out. So I don't have to stress out and worry about funding. However, we've seen exponential growth in our institution. We're almost at 30% enrollment growth over this last year. And we believe, you know, even if it's anecdotal, we believe it's largely due to the faculty having strategic support from our instructional design team. I am very thankful for my team. They are wonderful for faculty. We try to create a very inclusive, responsive environment that faculty feel like they are supported, welcomed, that they feel a sense of care from our group. We have no punitive aspect to our center, so we're hoping they feel a very open door, that they can come and get all the support that they need as it relates to instructional and curriculum design. And to preface just a little bit before I hand the mic over to the team, we all know that the DOJ letter with the due date of April 2026 for accessibility is there. And at least right now, we're still pushing in that direction. So we started brainstorming, how can we utilize AI and as a co-intelligence to create checklists or standards or just processes for our faculty to go through their Canvas to make it accessible. We're coming up on May, which is Accessibility Awareness Month. The day is in May, so we have a series of events tied to that throughout May with, I want to thank Lake Washington for kind of prompting that as an idea, but we've built this out and hopefully we'll use a lot of these principles with our faculty and how to create broader and deeper accessibility in general, not even just in Canvas. All right, I'm gonna turn it to you, James.
Sure. We'll introduce ourselves.
Sure.
Real quickly.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. This is my first time presenting. It's great to see everybody. I'm really glad everybody's very interested in AI and principles of AI and how we can use it to best help students. So my name is James Victor Shoemate. I'm a curriculum and instructional designer, and I'd like to pass it to
Ronald Lethko, curriculum and instructional design specialist.
Jeff Kane. Ditto.
Okay. So let's
begin. So first of all, I like to think about accessibility at the fundamental level. So why accessibility matters. And when I talk about accessibility here, I'm talking specifically about interacting with technology, interacting with Canvas, which is probably the #1 way that students interact with technology on a regular basis. So 1 in 4 adults in the United States reported having a disability. And this is information from the CDC in 2022. And so if you think of 1 in 4 adults in the United States, that's about 80 million, around 80 million people. And definitely people, adults are a big part of the population at Clover Park Technical College. So accessibility helps all learners, not just students with documented accommodations. So these principles, these UDL principles, they're going to be helpful for everybody. And open the door to a lot of things that might have been closed off in the past. And so we're not just checking boxes, we're designing materials, we're designing interactions with technology that have dignity and equity in mind, because we want people to have access and be able to have the same, in many ways, the same opportunities. So AI tools that you're probably very familiar with and may use every single day, like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, can be used to help you create more accessible Canvas content. Before we go any further, I would just like to ask, has anyone used a GPT or an AI tool to help develop or create materials for Canvas? So quite a few people, yeah, quite a few people already. So there's a lot of opportunities, and this will not be an exhaustive list, but these are some ideas to get people thinking about. How can we interact with AI? How can we use it, like Kristen said, as a co-intelligence? So you are the creator, and you're using the AI to support you. Okay.
You want me to take it over?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll hand it off to Ronald.
All right, so real quick, we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff, kind of behind the scenes in Canvas. So, I think most of you all will probably be familiar with this, but just in case, you're not, this is, how to find the code in Canvas. And we can do a lot with this code. This is how it looks like if you were to, publish the page and have your students go in and look at the material. To access the HTML code, you would just go into, so I have a just a blank site here. If I just open up a new page, I can come into, it's different when I'm in this mode. I'm gonna go down here to click this, and then this will come up with the HTML editor. You don't need to know coding with stuff like generative AI. There's something called vibe coding, where you just kind of put what you want in, and then it will give you, it'll spit something out. You can try it. There's like something that you don't like, you just say, I don't like this banner's color, and then you can just put that back into ChatGPT, and then it'll try to fix it for you. I don't know if that is like a sustainable profession, so I want to go looking for vibe coding jobs, but for now, and like in our, we have so much capacity at our jobs. It's a lot of work to go in and like edit the code behind the scenes, and so having ChatGPT help with that is nice. And so here is an example. If we would have taken that code from that last site, you can paste the HTML into the prompt box here, and then you can have various prompts, which we're going to be going over after I give you this quick little intro. You could put in different prompts so that it will edit this code to be more accessible for the students. And yeah, so that's the basic process here. You get the code as it is, paste it in, add a prompt, and then you would take the new code and then paste it back and forth, depending on what changes need to be made. So we're gonna go into now like how we can use this and how to do it specifically. But before we do that, we have a quick Mentimeter. We're gonna talk about syllabus first and how, you present your your syllabus to your students. So, I just wanna get a quick, this is the Mentimeter here. It'll tell us, how you all, if you're teaching, prefer to give your syllabus to your students, whether it's in the Canvas sidebar, you use Canvas. Do you just have it as a Word document that you put into your course? Is it a PDF? Or do you just print them out and hand them out?
Sure.
Yes, sorry, so document, a digital document.
Ronald, can I say something?
Yep.
If you have a seat next to you that is open, could you just raise your hand? We have a lot of people in the back that are standing, so if you, those of in the back, if you do want a seat, there's a few up here.
1, 2,
Just so
3.
Just so you see them, there's two up here in the front, next side by side, just so people see that there's seats. Sorry.
Thank you, good suggestion.
They're coming in?
The voting, oh, so you could just,
Back to the kids.
I'll put it up there for a second. So if we look here, just based on this, this room that we're in, looks like. Most of y'all use the Canvas sidebar. It's a great option since it's already embedded in Canvas. You can turn it on and off. Students have direct access to it. 11 with the Word document, PDF for 5, and then, oh, it's kind of perfectly tapers down. For the two that did other, I'm curious. If, yeah,
PowerPoint, just so I can reference sections. A colleague of mine, which is he uses a Word doc PDF, but he uses law, so he does line numbers, so you can quickly go 45.
Oh, that's true. And then there was one more other, yeah.
So I have kind of a graphic syllabus that I made, and then I have one that's also a text one that's screen reader friendly. And I have a Canva one that's kind of like an animated syllabus on the front of the Canvas page, so it's like friendly and it scrolls through. And then I also make a video too, so I just have all, but I teach big box over it. So
Oh.
built it all.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
The liquid syllabus, so I use a website.
Yeah.
Those are great. Yeah, I love liquid syllabus, graphic syllabus, anything to kind of spice it up. So that's a good segue into how we can use AI with the syllabus, and I'm gonna pass it back over to James.
Okay. It's very interesting that that many people are already using Canvas, the Canvas syllabus tab to do the syllabus. I want to make an argument that that can be a very accessible option. And in section 1, I want to talk about course materials and how to use AI to help improve course materials. And a really good example of that would be the syllabus. So the first principle that I like to share is use Canvas pages and modules instead of docs or PDFs. Now, I'm not saying the docs or PDFs cannot be accessible because they can be. But I want to encourage using the HTML format because that can be more something called responsive. I don't know if you've ever heard of a responsive website that can change size depending on what format, if you're using a mobile device or a desktop device. And it can also be edited relatively easily, and that's what we're going to use AI for. So I have impactful prompts These are prompts that you can use in a GPT to help you improve the code. Remember that we took that code, that HTML code, and if we combine this together, I'll show you a little bit later what results we could get. So the first one, convert this doc/PDF syllabus into a Canvas-friendly HTML using headings and bullet points. And headings, H1 through 3, these are very useful because for screen readers, that makes it very apparent where the different sections are. The second principle, avoid color only cues, and I violated this rule in this text right here. And this is because people who have visual impairments or low vision, it'll be difficult for them to notice what you're trying to emphasize. And so an impactful prompt would be, review this Canvas page HTML and suggest alternatives to color-only cues to improve accessibility. So we'll talk a little bit more about like best practices for prompting, but these prompts are gonna get us going. Do you have a quick question?
Yeah, when you do Canvas HTML, it creates a little funky. So do you author the PDF or Word document and the HTML, so students want to print out?
Exactly. This will be another one of the best practices that we show, because UBL means multiple means of representation. And so that's definitely going to be one of the principles. Yeah, thank you. Another principle, use descriptive links and file names. So an impactful prompt would be, write suggestions for links and file names to be descriptive and accessible. So how many times have we seen the click here for the file? Maybe that's not going to be as descriptive as it could be. So here, download link to reading -PDF, so we know the format. This would be a much more accessible and descriptive way to have a link to a file. So what I did is I took all the different best practices we talked about and I made a super prompt. And this super prompt is going to give us a version of HTML that's going to be an improvement, hopefully an improvement over the initial PDF file that I started with. So but yeah, by the way, on the handout, if you have any questions or if you would like to see the prompts, you will have access as a QR code and you'll be able to access the presentation.
Okay, so the PowerPoint is gonna drop.
Yes.
Yes.
It's on the worksheet, sorry. we
Yeah.
didn't have that.
Yes, it will be there, yeah.
Otherwise, we're running like crazy.
Yeah, please don't, please don't have to write everything.
He's coming around with them.
Ronald,
He may
can
be
you-
a little short, so you'll have to share the QR.
Well, yeah, we'll share the QR code. Ronald, can you go to the next one? If you get a chance.
Go ahead.
Okay. I love before and afters, the makeovers. I love to see the difference between the before and after. So this was, I tried to sabotage my syllabus. So I took this sample format for syllabus, and we have all kinds of violations. We have color cues. We have links that are just HTML. And we do not have an H1 to H3 hierarchy for the information. So afterwards, I took this and I put this file in AI. And then I had the prompt that we showed on the last slide. And then this was the output. So we have the different headings. It's hard to see because of this such small text. But we have a descriptive link here. It went from just a HTML line to a descriptive link. And we have also removed color cues. And it looks like they use bold or bullet points to highlight different sections. This would, in my opinion, would just be a start. This would just be a start, but this is a very positive start, a small change, big impact towards making the content more accessible.
Yeah.
And it has its place, color is good. We have to use it in an effective way.
You have the.
No,
Oh, what's wrong?
yeah.
Jeff's next.
Yes, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I wanted to bring the blinking text back.
Yes.
A lot of what James just showed us is also good for assignments. This universal design for learning asks us to have multiple means of representation, multiple means of engagement, and when we're able to put our materials into multiple formats, we're doing that. What makes an assignment accessible? Use clear, plain language instructions. An example prompt is: you are a college instructor, rewrite these assignment instructions in plain language for a college level audience with diverse reading levels. What's interesting about this is that just last week, maybe a week and a half ago, I was helping a faculty member finish up a welding textbook. And it's a second OER welding textbook. And we're at a technical college with students with non-traditional diverse education backgrounds. And so we found a lot of great material out there that was openly licensed, but we needed to have it basically at the ESL 6 level, which also is going to make it easier for another team to translate the whole curriculum into Spanish. And so, so this is actually pretty exciting. So in this prompt, you're identifying the role that you want the AI to play. You're letting it know what you want it to do, and you're letting it know what kind of format you want it to output. Then the other thing that we want to do is avoid image-only instructions. And I was thinking about this last night. And if you want to see a really fun prompt, ask ChatGPT or your AI of choice to give you the instructions for making a latte with a Rancilio espresso machine, or just name one at random. And it'll give you the instructions. Then you take those instructions, and I said, aha, I'm going to make it visual, so we can do multiple means of expression. And so I put it in, and I said, put these in as and give me back IKEA-like instructions for the same process. And say I didn't bring it, did I? It was all over the map. There's these little guys just wandering around the page with these tools in their hands. It's really funny. But we want to avoid image-only instructions. So you can take a infographic and you can say, convert this image-based instruction into a text-based version for students using screen readers. And see, that's very important with the points that James was making, is that those headers help the screen readers actually organize the information for the people who are using screen readers. Okay, it's the next. Beep.
Can you do it? Hold on.
Okay. So we want to provide multiple formats, And doing this on your own as an instructor can be time consuming. But we have these prompt, create instructions that work both as a Canvas page and can be downloaded as a Word or PDF file. And somebody was mentioning about Canvas HTML looking funny after the fact. One of those reasons is that Canvas decided that some HTML and almost all of JavaScript is a security vulnerability. And so there's things that are missing. And so when you say use, it's important that you say that you use Canvas HTML or HTML for Canvas, because it knows what to exclude from the XML, which affects how it's printed as well. But that question brings up some interesting things that we need to explore later. So then let's take all of these ideas together with a combined prompt. So using these instructions, make HTML for a Canvas page. You are a college instructor. Rewrite these assignment instructions in plain language for a college level audience with diverse reading levels. Convert this image-based instruction into a text-based version for students using screen readers. Create instructions that work both as a Canvas page and can be downloaded as Word or PDF file. So this is some of the things that ChatGPT does well, because some of its data was things like WCAG's HTML guidelines and accessibility guidelines. There's a lot of information in there that you can see that ChatGPT is pulling out and applying to code or documents. Okay, so this was kind of the inspiration, where here is kind of a typical espresso machine instructions that you'll get, and then using that prompt, you get a pretty well organized Canvas page with the same information. And that looks like a Rancilio Sylvia espresso machine, which is the inspiration last night.
Discussion.
Okay, and I'm passing back to Kristen.
They graciously allowed me to talk in the middle. I'm so excited. If you all have been in a presentation with me before, you know I'd like to talk. We're all former English faculty or current English faculty, and I teach a public speaking course almost every quarter. So this quarter, I decided to completely redesign my public speaking course only through ChatGPT. So it's an experiment, but I'm the human in the loop, and I'm staying involved. And one thing that I've noticed, it has taken such a headache from me with creating discussion prompts that students will be interested in, and interested in a way that they're not going to go to AI to create a discussion post. So we always want clear, succinct, welcoming language for any assignment that we do, but there's a prompt here that you could use. Create suggestions for this discussion prompt to be more welcoming, inclusive, easy to understand. I change my prompt all the time. I have talked to AI enough to know, they know me. It knows me. I'm trying not to personify it. So it's inevitable, but I have changed it every discussion post to see what the output is that it gives me. What I appreciate about it is that it always gives me a very clear order, so the students will see and expect the same thing every time they're coming to a discussion post, which I think as a human, maybe I messed that up. Maybe I'm not as aware when I go through each discussion post. So that's been very beneficial practically for me, for the students. And I'm a big Tilt fan. Anybody else incorporate Tilt? We know for the last 15 years or so, that's been a huge push. And the the ability for AI to tilt things is amazing to me. It's very helpful. It has a very clear order and structure with the headings and the different things that it does. It has aligned every assignment to my outcomes. It's amazing. I also have, I can talk about this a long time, but for Tilt, if you use a prompt close to this, it will definitely help you. I put in prior assignments that maybe I didn't like the way it was tilted, or I want the format to be the same in all my assignments so that it looks the same for my students. And I'll put it in the conversation and it's beautiful. And I put it in my Canvas. And obviously, I'm the human in the loop, so I'm going in there and putting in the content and looking at the output to revise for clarity or effectiveness, or I'll talk back to it and say, my students aren't gonna like this, my students are blah, 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 and I'll give some demographics to help align the assignments better with the current students that I have. But discussion prompts specifically, it has been really beneficial. I felt like the responses that I get from students are more thoughtful and personal because my prompts are more accessible and tilted and more personal. So ask me in 2 months how it went to create the whole course through ChatGPT only. It's been really interesting down to the images. I decided to do a Simpson theme. I've never watched an episode of The Simpsons. I know, it's shocking. Also haven't watched Star Wars to some people's horror. So I have what's interesting about that, let me just tell you why I told you that. When I put the Simpson-like images on each of my overview days, students will say that doesn't work. I've watched The Simpsons. That character's really messed up looking. So it's interesting to get feedback because I have no frame of reference. So this is what you shouldn't do. I did this in a very low stakes way by Simpson images, but it's interesting that the students are giving me feedback just even on the images, like that's wrong. You shouldn't have used that. And I told them I'm using ChatGPT to create the images. So they've been very good about giving me feedback about them. And it's just a fun little connection that I can have with the students. Next.
Speaking of connection and images, we're gonna do, for section 4, we're talking about some visual elements. So if you'll notice real quick, there's, this is a QR code. It's got a bunch of circles on it because I was trying to match the theme. But this, just to jump ahead a little bit, is a resource from Arizona State University, where if you scan it and go to their website, or just go to their website there with the link, it's an image accessibility generator, and you can do a live demo. The basic idea behind this section here is we have courses with a lot of images in them. Is it a broken link? Boo, sorry. I'll try to fix it by the end. Let me see if I can get the website up though, and then I can show you all what it would look like. Whoa, what's going on here? I just broke everything. Sorry. Share. That's good. Oh, it's because we were doing a presentation on 2 screens. Okay, let me get this up here for you, just so that you can see kind of what it looks like. So yeah, ASU image accessibility generator. I'm sure if you type that into Google, it'll come up. But we're also we'll put the slides up later so that you can access it directly from the slide. Okay, so about this tool here, enhance the accessibility of your course images with our intuitive tool. I'm not going to read that whole thing, but basically what it does is we have a bunch of images that we want to add into our course. All those images should have alt text for the screen readers. And I don't know if any of y'all have done alt text by hand, but it takes a lot of mental energy to like, I mean, I know what's on this picture and I know I can describe it, but to do it over and over again is a lot of work. And so this kind of takes that and cuts it by a considerable amount. And so I'm gonna give you all an example. I don't know if it's gonna work here. I'm always, I'm worried about live demos here, but, I'm just gonna take an image like this. And then I'm going to browse for that image here. And I think this is just as simply as it looks. So I add the image in here. This is what it is. And then I click here where it says create image details, or I can add any additional information that I might want to add to it here. I'm not going to do that. I want to see what it comes up with. And so I click on create the image details, and then I think, I can't say for sure, but I'm assuming they're using some sort of like GPT, something that they created with a large language model, with all the instructions in there, something similar to if you were to do it yourself, where you would type in write meaningful, concise alt text for this image that communicates the key idea without redundancy, and it should give you something like this. And so this one says, this image as a promotional flyer for an event organized by the Clover Park Technical College's Teaching and Learning Center. The flyer has a predominantly black background with electric blue and white text. Ooh, like that. So I was going for like a neon glow with that. Let's see, on the left side, there's an artistic image of an open book with glowing pages surrounded by abstract digital network graphics. So it just does the whole thing, right? Like if I were to describe this, that's probably how I would describe it, but maybe not so eloquently. Yes.
Do you know of anyone who describes this in math pictures?
Oh, like graphs and stuff?
Yeah, graphs.
That sounds like dicey territory for.
No, however, our math faculty that's here with us is going to be redesigning his statistics course with Jeff over this next break. So we'll let you know, get in touch with us, and we'll let you know if they come up with anything interesting.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Would you have a kind of suggested length of alt text to oftentimes some people say the shorter the better, or some people say.
No, we can say
Otherwise.
Okay, so he just asked, is there a suggested length for alt text? Because some people say the shorter the better. And the important thing is that you want people who are depending on screen readers to have the same experience that, or an equivalent experience that other people not using screen readers would have. The idea behind meaningful alt text is if you just say flower, which is what a lot of them say, that doesn't give the reader any kind of context or the mood that is being expressed. And what you'd be surprised at is that how if someone is blind, they're depending on listening to screen readers, they're listening to it at 2.5. And I know a student who can do 3. Sounds like a bug. Yeah, it sounds like a bug. And so it doesn't have to be a novel, but meaningful alt text means you're communicating what the image is you know, a flower in a sunny field surrounded by warm clouds, something like that. That's meaningful alt text over a flower or a dog.
And real quick, just to finish reading about this one that we made. So it gives you the long description here, but then for the alt text flyer for the 2025 AI plus OER Institute by Clover Park Technical College. And so here's what it looks like and what it's all about. This is just a very short alt text for it. And then also you can see it's pretty cool. It takes out the text. So any text that was in the image, it takes it out, and then this is all the text that's in that last image. So it transcribed the text.
Generally, you can ask it to be either or both.
This one, I just put it in there, and I think this is all that it gave out. Yeah, long alt text, and then if there's any text, actual text on it, it'll take the text out of it. So that's a pretty cool resource. Once again, I think if you just type in maybe ASU, image accessibility generator, ASU, Arizona State. Okay, so that's what we can do with alt text for images. Okay, so another thing in addition to just regular images, like that, we can have it describe charts and infographics. So it's the same kind of idea where you have an image, you put the image in, describe the key message of this chart in plain English or plain language for students using screen readers. I want to take a moment to do a little activity with you all. So we gave you all papers, if you have a pen or if you have a notebook that you're writing on. I want you all to try to think of an alt text for this little infographic here. What would you do? And if you're really old, time yourself and see how long it takes to make the alt text.
Should we zoom in on it?
Yeah, I'll try to zoom in. Actually, I'll give you 1 minute, 2 minutes? 2 minutes. All right, zoom in.
Oh, hold on. Let me get the zoom here. Is there a way to zoom in with the tool? No, I can't do it. I think. Hold on, I can do it with this, but I just need to make sure my mouse is. Yeah, I'll put my mouse here and then. See if this works. Nope, no cheating. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. Okay, there we go.
I said that. Yes, I'm good, do boss.
Who knows? Some people give an example. Oh yeah, that's a good call.
Anybody finished? I'm gonna come around to the people who are finished that want to share. Everybody else can keep working, get some inspiration.
Jess is.
Say, okay, circle 6 colors and sections with images of different accessibility needs, for example, wheelchair, here, etc.
All right. So you've got, yeah, kind of the vibe of it. It's got a bunch of accessibility images around the circle. Okay, anybody else?
A wheel graph describing WCA accessibility in 6 multicolored sections with different icons representing different domains of accessibility.
Did you use the alt text generator? No. Oh, yeah. Nobody knew what it was. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else want to share what they got? I like the examples, those were great. This is what chat came up with. And you'll notice some overlap. So I'll just read this for you. This diagram shows WCAG accessibility in the center, surrounded by 6 simple icons. So the icons in there. But then it actually it says what the icon is supposed to represent, or what it actually is. So this is a wheelchair, and then it's supposed to represent mobility. You got the head profile, which is cognitive, standing figure, right? Hand, touch, ear, hearing. Its key message is that true web accessibility must address the needs of all these groups, not just one. I don't know if I would include that in there, it just seems extra, but yes.
Maybe think of something so ESL.
Hold on, let's.
Sorry. So maybe think of, so I teach ESL and for me, that language or language person would be way too hard. So I was thinking about that, so I was saying it, and I'm just thinking, in an AI, presumably you could say, you know, whatever level you needed.
Right.
That would, that would be really.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a ChatGPT response based on that last prompt. So I'll put the prompt up there again. Describe the key message of this chart in plain language for students using screen readers. So based on that prompt plus this image, it gave this one response. And then, so I would just add it, like, describe the key message of this chart. It says here in plain language, so you would change it to something like, at an 8th grade level, or, you know, whatever, however you distinguish your students. So, okay. Sue?
I get to talk again. So thank you for listening, but now we're gonna give you some time to, if you have questions. We hope that these prompts help you develop your own, or you're free to use them. We'll give you the slides, but that just doing these little small changes, and hopefully your faculty see, or if you are faculty, you see how quickly you can make things more accessible by using AI, and how helpful it is to hopefully make a big impact for our students. So use the AI tools to enhance our access. You have our handout, and then we also have some stickers up here, which we did have last year also. So if you want a sticker, Ronald's gonna come around and hand that to you. What we also have is a flyer for our 2025 AI and OER Institute. Has anyone attended one of our summer institutes in the last couple of years? Okay, they are free and accessible, and we're hopeful. There's already about 80 people registered, and it's not until August. So we have 2 exceptional keynotes that are coming to be with us on Friday and Saturday, August 8th and 9th. We are still accepting proposals. So if you would like to present at this AI OER Institute, it does not have to be both. It could be AI, it could be OER, or it could be both together in a presentation. So please go on the QR. There's flyers for it. If you want more flyers to hand out at your institution, we have more up here. You can grab a stack if you'd like that, because it is free. We'd love to have you there. We won't be talking, so if you didn't like us, that might be a bonus. Did anybody have any questions back in the back? Hold on, let me get you the mic. We only have one. I don't know why they didn't get this one.
Are you guys, I'm assuming you guys are thinking about Title II?
Yes.
And if you wanna say a few words about that, and we're not, I think our e-learning is really pushing it, but administration is way behind, and even defining the 50,000. Someone told me, and I don't even know if this is true or whether this is written, that they're defining the 50,000 as all of SBCTC, which means we have to be compliant a year from now. So yeah.
So earlier I addressed the DOJ letter. So Title II accessibility, there was a letter that came out that all of our internal and external documents, websites, everything has to be accessible by April of 2026. How many of you know about that? Okay, so every institution is different. I've heard institutions have no support. I've heard institutions have committees, but they're not actually putting things in action yet. 1 year is gonna come very quickly. So we actually, Jeff is co-chair of our accessibility committee with our executive director of IT and also our manager of, what is her title? The disability services manager, I think that's similar to her title. And she's also there. So we are housing that work right now in that committee. And we've taken an active role to make Canvas things accessible. That's our May events and workshops are leading in that. Our administrative team is very aware. Our IT executive director is the one who's on the, every institution had to put a person as a name of reference. Do you all know that person? Are you that person? If you are, I'm so sorry. I told them I am not gonna be that person, and our poor IT director. But really, I mean, if I were to share, I think that it should be a person's only job. This is a huge lift. And I don't, did any of you hire someone to do this? Any institutions hire anybody to do the accessibility work? Awesome, where are you?
North Seattle.
North Seattle, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
A hand, go ahead.
It was you.
Oh,
That's horrible.
okay.
So I have a little bit of experience using ChatGPT for instructional and curriculum design, so it's really refreshing. But one thing I encounter, the hurdle is actually I'm using the free account still. Because
Yes.
like a lot of us in this room, don't want to spend my own money on That being said, is there any sort of recommendations for funding sources, to sort of get the license? I'm assuming y'all have one as a result of your work as instructional designers, you're not using the free,
No, we're actually using 4.0, like 4.0, so one of the more
So
advanced
that's-
models.
We use the TLC funding.
Yep.
However, Deanna's one of our faculty. She's our English faculty. And she has created all that she does with her English courses using the free version so that she knows, she doesn't necessarily use it, but what she knows her students, it's an equity issue, right? We can't require our students to purchase that. So as part of that, we practice with the free version to see the output. And we know that might go away. So I mean, it's gonna be part of further conversations, but it is a really good point, and I don't have any suggestions.
So I had faculty who were using, I think it was called Magic School,
Yeah.
and so it's a paid service. But then I'm having them switch over to Cognito tools.
Yeah.
Because those are free. And they can also be integrated for the instructor, not the student. Cognito is.
It's in Canvas.
I'll bring it up.
Okay, cool. Ronald will bring it up, but it's Khan Academy, put it together. It has all the tools that was in Magic School and then some. So if you're using it for curriculum development, for things like that, and it's pretty robust compared to the free AI tools. And you had a question earlier?
Yeah, question about that closed captioning or getting the closed caption, and I noticed that you have fairly accurate captioning there. The question part one is that, is it part of Zoom or what, what's the
Oh, I just started a Zoom meeting and then did screen share and turned on the caption, so that's what we're looking at here.
Good. My follow-up question about closed caption is that I noticed that auto-generated captions are good to a point. And I noticed that it's kind of, the quality has been kind of a stagnated at, I would say about 90% correct translation. I noticed that this live one is much better than Canopto auto-generated closed captioning and so on. And I can say my dictation is not necessarily that standard, so we'll see. I'm gonna keep talking.
I mean, it's 100% right now.
So I'm kind of wondering if you have any tip. Well, okay, let me take a step back. So I noticed that we have a lot of video generation, especially through Zoom meetings and so on. So we have many faculty members who recording their Zoom meetings, which is fantastic. But as a support staff, it's almost a nightmare. I'm not suggesting that you should stop recording your lectures, but in terms of getting the accurate closed caption, if you have any insight or suggestion about how to make the better closed caption.
Well, I think the tools are improving, and I think Zoom is one of the best ones. As a matter of fact, I'll take our accessibility meeting and I'll put it in YouTube. I like to change I'll be forever in the computer world. Jeff Kane will be Jeff Kane. That's just how it's gonna go. So it's, there's no very quick way to edit it. You do need some eyeballs on it. Because yours was panopto instead of, where it was panopto or something.
Yeah, Panopto,
It-
not Panopto.
Yeah. And so there are things that you have to do. Otter AI is pretty good. But I think that we're gonna see improvement with the tools because there's definitely with the DOJ letter, there's gonna be a more, it's gonna be very important that those problems are fixed. Now, my workflow is when you go into Zoom, you download the caption file, okay? But then there's also a transcription. And so sometimes comparing the two can be helpful. We need to come up with a real work process for that. But the other thing that Zoom gives you is the timing file, the BTT file. So you can upload that into YouTube, and YouTube will line up the time. And there's between YouTube auto caption generating your transcription file and the timing file, you can get something pretty close. But again, it still needs work.
Any other questions? Back in the back.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have great information that I found, but I haven't really looked very hard. I'm curious where we're at in accessibility with Google embedded slides, and is it just preferable to link to a shared Google Doc rather than embed the slides? I don't want to embed images after the second time because I didn't update and all of them were broken, and I just, I have so many diagrams, so I don't know if you have some tips on that.
Yeah, I would have those, I'd have those tied to the course rather than tied to Google. Because you have all kinds of situations that can happen with students, and sometimes faculty don't have the sharing turned on correctly. Or the instructional designer might not have it turned on.
And that was one of the things I recommended, the Canvas page, because the Canvas page is editable, and it's accessible to all the students within the course, and then the sharing issues are not going to be an issue.
Yeah, and if you know how to share, that's usually pretty reliable. My experience is Canvas, and every once in a while, I have so many images, and I can file tickets, and they just could be, here's how to insert an image, and I'm like, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
So I want to own that, and so I own it by having it in Google Doc, which I share to the public.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if that's, if there's any issue with using that.
I would encourage you to, instead of putting it up and leaving it up at Google, to download it into course files. And then so when you do the embedding, you're embedding from course files rather than from an outside source. Just have fewer problems. And then also a lot of images get broken because of how your team is migrating their Canvas courses quarter to quarter, semester to semester.
It's true.
So we are at about 1 minute before we're supposed to be done, I think. And I just want to tell you, I know when I said I had 3 instructional designers, I saw some sighs. And we understand that we have a really, like, an amazingly staffed center. We are still a young center. We're 5 years old. However, we have worked quickly and deeply. And so what I want to say to all of you is that we believe in a spirit of collegiality amongst the Washington colleges and really beyond. It's why our AI OER Institute will always be free, because we think professional learning needs to be accessible, and part of that is money. So what we want you to know is that if you need support, feel free to reach out to us, please, because we're more than happy to support where we can. I know how it is to be one person running a center. I did that, and it is really difficult. Thankfully, I've always had strong administrative support, but I know that's not the case at other colleges. If you want me to talk to your administration, I'm pretty persuasive. So also, I'm more than happy to do that from an outside source about the importance and data of robust teaching and learning centers impacting retention and completion and enrollment, etc. So please reach out to us if you need support. You can contact us through the sticker, or I have some cards up here, or just reach out to anybody at Clover Park and they'll direct you our way. You can also just email tlc@cpdc.edu. I felt his presence on the sticker.
Sorry, real quick, you said with the sticker, I don't think we said it at the beginning. There's a QR code on the chest of Simon, that's our school's mascot. It's very small and you would think maybe it wouldn't work, and maybe it won't work, but like 60% of the time, it works every time, so that's.
So that takes you to our LibGuide, which has all of our former presentations, we'll have our current presentation. It has syllabus links, it has some really cool syllabus and assignment tags that Ronald created for faculty to use AI, which I use on all of my assignments. So it has these cool, hurry, we're at time. Where you can copy and embed those in assignments so that students know if they, what level they're allowed to use it. We have created an AI policy at our college. We had an AI work group. So we're kind of ahead of the game on some of this, I know. Also, Ronald created a generative AI course that is open and free on Canvas. If you search, how do they search that to get it easily?
So if you go to our PD offerings tab, PD offerings tab here, there's this Gen AI and higher education. If you click on the crosswalk, it'll open up with this where it gives you the OER link to download, direct link to the live course, and then self-enroll. And you can also check, we try to align them with the skill standards. So if you got faculty or if you are faculty and you have to do stuff related to that, everything is mapped out in this course. And we're also redesigning it because when I originally made it, we were doing a gamification thing. And so that's why there's a big mountain there. Where faculty were climbing the mountain. We're going to take all that out and just make it strictly generative AI and higher education. So be on the lookout for that.
Thank you all. Good job, guys.
Nice work, team.
Guys so much because, I'm at Spokane Community College with Angela Rasmussen, who runs the Teaching and Learning Center there. So